All right, so what we're going to do is, this shouldn't take too long. I'm going to try and go as fast as I can through this, but again, giving information. If you have questions along the way, please chat. Hit the chat box if you're not familiar with this particular webinar interface. Not too difficult, just type a message in the bottom where it says, obviously, to everybody, or you can just make it to me directly. So if you stay to the end, as I had said in the original email that went out to everybody, or at least if you went through Facebook or any of our other ad strategies, at the end, we'll provide you with a free 130-page book, The Ultimate Guide to Medical Practice Marketing, and that will allow you to get a glimpse into the real world of the marketing strategies that are out there. And that is kind of fascinating to me, that the book is actually going to be available for those folks who are interested in getting a little bit more in depth. It's a very detailed book of lots of pieces of information that will support the folks that will come out. So again, if you stay to the end, and again, I appreciate everyone jumping on this call, that I will get that book out to those people who are interested. So on the show, you know, one of the things after I wrote the book, I actually completed the book last year, and it's due to be published this month. It's actually in queue in Amazon to go up as both a physical book and a electronic book. But one of the things that I learned from writing the book was that the fascination around this market, about what you can actually accomplish, and we've had so many great case studies, and that's sort of you know, one of the hardest things to do is to match up all these case studies to different practices. You know, we do have a lot of people who work in the med spa, holistic, chiropractors, spine surgeons. You know, there's so many different variants to it, so it's hard to write a book to cover all. But this really was around the theory that systems need to be built, and a lot of people who can do systems that have productive outputs end up having the best results. And so we've done so many of these, what we call profit engines, and the book really encompasses a lot of the theory to practicality. So at the end, if you stick with this presentation, we'll get the book out to you. So just real quick, just turn off cell phones. Please try and turn off Facebook. I think it's pretty difficult. It's at this point, because I think even the messages keep blanging through on my browser. And then what we see here is who am I and why should you listen to me? So I've been at this for quite a long time, and you know, from a perspective of having about 100 or so podcasts now, in the medical practice marketing podcast, we've been, you know, getting guests on now, and a lot of cool things have happened over the last couple of years. I've done a lot of presentations for medical groups. I've done obviously the book. I've been on CNN, and the amount of things that we've done in our agency, Customer Bloom, allows us to sort of go across all these different channels and help different folks from different walks of life and different practices help their practice get stronger and get more leads and more patients. So what's interesting is that the real business of this marketing world is actually the same thing that I'm doing, which is being visible. And in your case, it's being visible to your patients. So we've run thousands of campaigns across the country. We've built 500 plus websites and landing pages, hundreds of medical clients, medical practices, medical services, products. We have a full team that's dedicated to the industry. There's no question that we can, you know, support tons of folks in this space. We have real results, successful practices, lots of business owners all over the country. You know, people who have basically worked with us for years and years and years, and really, every year that we go by, we're finding more and more successful capabilities to build more into this. And although this might be a little grainy on the visual, these are all the reviews. We have over 70 reviews, positive reviews for our services just in Google alone. So this is the kind of session to get this started. So we're going to really get into the meat now. So really, what we want to talk about just real quickly is what are your goals for 2018? And Brian Tracy says success is goals, all else is just commentary. So we really try and think when we speak with practitioners is to get into their strategy of what they want to accomplish. So I really look at what is the revenue target, how much is that monthly, how many new patients does that require, what's the average transaction value, especially if you're in the cash paying environments or some of the relevance to that market where it could be some insurance, some cash pay, but obviously the remuneration for that insurance is part of that. What's your average transaction value? With really the key is what's your lifetime patient value, because if you think about the value of a patient over a long period of time, there's a big number behind that. So again, it comes down to how many phone calls and ad leads you'll get to hit your goal, and can you even estimate it? And this is a big question for a lot of practitioners, which is to figure these numbers out, because we're really looking at what your targets and what your capabilities are, and how do you estimate those numbers to be in your right space of where you are. So what we really want to know is how many leads you need to get to your goals. So if you have a number in mind of how many patients you want to acquire for this year, and then you look at the average conversion rate of your new patients that are coming in, or new calls or form fills that are equivalent to booked appointments, you can multiply these new leads, these targets, times your conversion rate, and now you can figure out your numbers. So what's really cool about figuring out your numbers is that you can kind of get through how to do the ad structure. So how many leads will you need? So if you want 50 new patients per month and your average conversion rate from a caller or booked appointment is 50%, so you'll need 100 leads in order to get those patients in. And then you have to think past that, which is the actual procedures. Now, sometimes you might get booked appointments, but those don't turn into procedures. So I put some estimate examples in here. So 50% and then 50% of actual procedures that are carried out. So simple math you can see here is that you'll end up with 200 new leads per month needed in order to get those 50 new patients. So that really puts things in perspective when you think about the advertising. So you have to be efficient, and you have to use your thought process on how do you get those leads in. And there's some very basic stuff. So the thing that I'm going to do in this presentation, I'm going to go again quickly as I can through this so that we keep everybody on time. But I want to make sure that you understand there's two stages. The first stage is just what we're going to go through, and then we're going to get to a little sort of level of the next level, which is really what the book is about, which is getting into our profit engines model for practitioners. So really, what is your goal for 2018? 100 new patients, 250 new patients, 400 new patients, 600 new patients, 1,000, 5,000 new patients? And we work with all sorts of different firms and practices that have all different requirements in their world. They may want to do 1,000 new patients, or they may want to do 100. It's all based off of what the size of the practice is, if they're new, if they're existing, if they've been in business, in multi-location. So everybody has a new goal for the year. So to think through this process is to think like, how many new patients do you want? And then start to map through the equation. So basically, the fundamentals are to have a message, the what, and the market, which is the who, and then the media, which is the how. So this is really the solid sort of beginning part of where we start to really help market generation of patient acquisition. And these assets are the things that drive the whole process. So you have to think about who is your ideal patient and what makes the most sense. So again, I'm just going to put up an example, is to think about your patient avatars to start with, their goals, their frustrations, their fears, their aspirations. And these are the things we do to do a market recon with a lot of the first-time practitioners we work with, to get them to think through the smart avenue of driving the right message into the market. And one of the things that helps everybody is to think through looking at their patient deck of the typical patient, but then look at what's the best patient? Who would be the most accurate patient to define? And that really helps drive the right type of traffic. So that's a big start for you. And this simple sheet that you see here, we actually do this in person. So you could actually, this presentation will be available for people who want to review it later, but you can actually just look at this and think through these types of assets that you're going to need. That's a lot of practice. The next step is to really drive that avatar strategy. And again, I put up some sample demographics here on who's the ideal customer avatar. Again, this really helps with Facebook as well, because we literally can go into Facebook and put these targeted elements in. And there's a lot to do with thinking directly into this and starting to think through the process of having somebody who is actually a perfect avatar to go after, and you can market towards that one. Even though you won't always get the right exact avatar, at least you're in the right direction. And a lot of this shotgunning approach ends up in frustration because there's not enough good quality patients being acquisitioned through marketing. So we try and think through this process when we get started with someone. Again, these are the baby steps into the sort of initial what we call profit engines, and it really does drive the right behavior over time. One of the most important things that we also see is that there's really, if you can see Joe Jones or Mary Jones through Joe Jones or Mary Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Mary Jones buys or Joe Jones buys. And that's sort of like a thought process of trying to step into your patient's shoes. Again, going back to craft your message of the what, who, and how to the right direction of what the patient is looking to do or looking to accomplish or looking to aspire to. There's a great thought process into that, and that's really sitting down and thinking through how they're going to go through their journey. So really, if you want to think about this, what should someone choose? Why should they choose you over another competitor? And that's really where we end up starting to think through the big benefits of what you'll offer to the target customer avatar and what they'll resonate with. And when you start to think this way, your content gets stronger, your media gets stronger, your match to the market gets stronger, and you start to convert better. Again, if you have better conversional strategy in general, what that really means is you swing big doors on small hinges. So those little small numbers, like increasing your conversion rates, especially when you're starting to spend money in ads, really does have an impact over time. So messaging that works, really, it looks like the most congruent stuff that we found in the market is a good offer, especially if you're in the market where you're doing cash-based strategy and you have a good competitive offer out in the market. Your reputation is going to be a really important thing. And then the overall program. What does the program include? And having those messaging strategies out there that really are clear and straightforward. So straightforward, upfront, with really good bedside manner discussion in the copy and the language and in the advertising. That's going to really help the process. Again, think of the customer, think of the journey the customer is going through trying to make a decision. Trustworthy and trusted or experienced. And this is the key to what we find in most of the markets, is that if there's a trust factor that's gone on with the advertising, if there's an experienced sort of practitioner strategy that gives somebody the feeling that they're there, and that's all done by showing the trust signals on landing pages and websites, and also in the language and how you represent your practice in that space. There's really something to say that now we can look at this media, which is we can look at now driving the right type of traffic through this. And one of the most important things that I see over time is that the strategy that we can find relates to this, which is the website is the hub, right? So we've got webinars, events, white papers, ebooks, guides, case studies, blog posts, news services, social media, email marketing, video, landing pages, images, charts, infographics, all sorts of things that go point toward the website. And that is really where we try and help people make those right decisions, get the right messaging out there. Again, it all starts with cold traffic that's finding you typically, and you have to have that messaging that's set up straight. So is your website set up to simply convert visitors and callers to leads? And one of the big challenges we find in the market is that just for the pure fact of trying to drive clicks is to uncomplicate everybody's experience. Now, that is the number one thing that we've seen over time, which is you have to make the simplest possible route. The reason why that's really becoming appropriate today is that 70% of the initial inception of interaction with practice starts on a phone. So if your phone is not thumb worthy, and I mean this sincerely, if you cannot get to the next step with your thumb on a phone, you're really missing the boat. We know that, and I was making a joke out of this, but we know that there are so many people that are so busy in their life, they only have 30 seconds, no, 3 seconds, no, a second to make a decision, right? They land on an ad, they land on the next step. They're driving their car typically, right? They just need to click a button to get to the next step. So we're trying to create simple systems to get them through the next step. And this is really what you're seeing here is the sites that we're building and the landing pages that we're building to start the initial incarnation after someone's saw an ad or saw some sort of piece of content to pull them back, is to get them to take that next step. And then I know these are small pictures, but really what those are just calls to action to get appointments set. Just one big clear button, get started and get some help. And a lot of people complicate this with really no results. Can conversion optimization really have an impact? I'm showing you the aggregate of, in this particular case, of a lot of the, we have a segmented phone traffic that we monitor for our practitioners, and we started to really hone in on doing conversion optimization. And this is actually over many years. This is actually a 3-year graph. And last year was when we turned everybody onto our new site strategy and our new landing page strategy. You can see the impact. It basically doubled the call flow. So now we are looking at a much stronger strategy. Back up, if you look at through almost to 2016 or 17, the numbers were up, but they weren't crazy up, but they went skyrocketing when we changed up the strategy to get these sites to be really just super simple. And I think it's also the fact that the phone has become really the center of attention. And up to probably a couple of years ago, that wasn't the case, but now it is really the case that people are either speaking into their phone and asking Siri or one of the other robots to get something near me or close to me, or they're just on their phone in general, making these initial starts. So that has really been an interesting impact. So just to show you that, across the boards, not just one client, but all clients are having an impact. Again, this is another thing to think about. Do you have even lead tracking in place? Are you doing call tracking? Are you doing form tracking? So someone comes in, are you monitoring? Are you looking at what the average cost per lead generated? So if you got 35 phone calls in a month or 100 phone calls and you put it up against your ad spend, again, all of these simple measures that we've provided for our clients over time are immensely important, because what it ends up doing is if you don't measure it, it won't get done. So in order to get these, what we call, KPIs are just key performance indicators, if you don't know what KPI means, but the average cost per lead is really what you're after. So if you are not measuring what you're spending in advertising and dividing it by your leads, you've really lost the whole aspect of marketing, which is to try and get that cost per lead to a point where it's profitable and also obviously as low cost as possible for your business. And that's just general knowledge that should be taking place. And we're going to go through just a couple of things that relate to that. Again, websites and landing pages, really speaking to the target avatar, which we talked about before. Does it have a real authentic image of your team, in the site, so that people see you as a real company? Does it include a video element? We have, most of the websites we build now have a very open video entourage when first the person gets there, especially if it's a general website. Again, on a homepage for a phone, does it showcase your online reviews and experience? Does it make it easy for you to take action? Again, that one button strategy. And then just gets to the basic phone number on the right hand. Ensure that there's a form to fill out. Is there authority symbols on your website, or credibility, or at least having your basics of your acumen on that site. Super simple stuff, but a lot of the times we're cluttering these websites up with all sorts of junk that doesn't need to be there. When the patient's just trying to go through their day, they don't have time to read a thesaurus. Just give them what they want, which is they want to get an appointment. They see that you're a pro. They see good imagery. They see that you're authentic, and then they move on. So far we've talked about clear goals and a target for 2018. So you have to think about how many patients you want this year for your practice. Break it down to a monthly, even break it down to a weekly if you want. A clarity around your market, your message, and your media. We've talked about that, just being authentic, finding your avatar, really thinking through that process. And then we've made sure to think about our website being optimized for conversion. And we really want to set up a simple tracking dashboard. If you don't have that, that's the first thing I would do. You have to think like a real pro here once you start to spend money on advertising. It's so important. Again, so what is your plan for 2018? Think through each one of these pods. There's events, there's white papers and ebooks, there's case studies, there's blog posts that you can put up, there's news, social media posts and advertising, email marketing, video, landing pages. Every one of these should have a plan behind it. And if you don't, then we have to kind of think like, what is the next step? So we're going to go through a couple more avenues of this. We're going to talk about SEO real quickly and then go through paid advertising and then get to the patient engine. So just hang with me for a few more here. And we're going to kind of tie this together in the end. So the SEO strategy is really based off of some very simple things, which is building content. So if you don't have good content, your site will not rank in Google. Google's rewarding people for good content and good strategy and indexing the keywords that your site is about. If you don't know how to do this, if you just Google SEO, you can find out a lot about simple stuff. But what we do for a lot of clients is build out content on their site, just like we talked about, towards an avatar with good conversion strategies in it, very short and simple, with a poignant button in the middle that says get started or get an appointment. If you think about the big things in Google that are important is getting listed on the maps. If you are not found on the maps, you are really going to be in trouble. And that's one of the things that makes sense for a lot of folks, which is that you have to have a good, solid map listing. And that ties back to the review strategy. So if you are listing yourself in all of the different places on the internet, such as Facebook and Twitter and Angie's List and Yelp and Yahoo and Ask and all these like different places, at least you're going to be on the map. So make sure that you're being found on the maps. And there's ways to make sure that your map location is being exactly listed because you get more reviews. So work on your reviews. Make sure when people leave, ask them to post a review, because that's how you'll get better rankings in Google's map listings, is they'll rank it by activity on site. And obviously reviews are part of it. How strong is your foundation? Do you have a paid advertising campaign? Are you in the paid directories? Are you running paid ads in social media? Are you doing organic SEO? Again, all of these pieces will count towards your strategy. So if you think about each one of these silos, they are all super important as a foundation before you even get to what we're going to talk about in a few minutes, which is our profit engines model. These have to be in place. They have to be strategies that have to be done in order to make sure that you're getting good constant patients that are going to be into your activities. So here's are your ads on social media and Facebook and Instagram. Again, more repeat business and more referrals are coming out of Facebook more than ever. Facebook is the killer app for the 2018. We see the numbers and the cost per lead in Facebook really good, really active. It's not hard to run Facebook ads and Instagram ads. It just takes a little bit of time to learn it, or you use someone like us to help provide that strategy. Again, go towards the content that matches up towards your avatar, that matches up towards your strategy for getting the right type of patient into your practice. Again, pay-per-click ads. Are you taking advantage of paid online marketing opportunities? AdWords, Bing, call-only paid ads, and retargeting. All just critical stuff. Really just absolutely have to do it in order to be there if you're looking to get that goal for 100 new patients or 500 new patients or 5,000 new patients. You've got to be running pay-per-click ads. It is the heart of the matter for when it comes down to making sure that you're actually going along with the market, which is, I'm on my phone, I need something now, I click on the first thing I see, and those are typically the AdWords. And we've got to think through the process of how those look, the language in that. Again, your examples of the ads here are banner retargeting ads, which you see in the top left-hand corner, and then the regular ads that match the phrase for someone searching. You can see up at the top that it actually just says, hey, I am looking for XYZ, and your ads can match that phrase. And that's really what's driving a lot of traffic these days, is those simple ads that have got the language that your patient is typing right into Google today. So let's put it all together. So we've got website, good conversion, paid ads, and Facebook ads. Really, if I was to say, do this, right? Run ads, and again, you can do it yourself. It's not super difficult, but it just takes some time to manage it. Or you can hire someone like us to run those ads, and you'll get towards your goals. You'll get towards your goals of building that strategy. Now, we take it to the next level, which is we add landing pages, email marketing, and retargeting into the mix. And you're going to start to see the patient strategy become now a profit engine, because now we can tie and leverage everything together. So I'm going to do a quick video, and you can watch this as it will go through it, and then we'll review the items that we just went through in the video. So what's cool about this is it actually will go through everything that needs to be thought about when you think through a full profit engine for your business. All the pieces are outlined. This is just a quick video, and it gives you all the information, and we'll jump right back in after this.
Okay, I'm going to take you through the patient engines model that we use for practitioners that solves a lot of the general day-to-day marketing strategy and puts it in a very easy to see format. So the patient engine model is based off of three main conversion aspects: offer, landing page, and then to the conversion form, which is usually either a phone call or an inbound form for an appointment. So the offer is usually made up of the structure of a % off a visit, % off a procedure, or even an actual monetary value. It can actually be any number of things, but just for our examples, we're going to do that for this particular presentation. So once we have the offer figured out, we run it in paid ads in Google and Facebook. We run it in content on your blog or into the organic posts and social. And we also run email marketing as well. So we can see, in this case with paid ads, you can see some example of paid ads in Facebook and different variants. And this would be also for any type of procedure. We're showing you examples just to make sure you're aware of it. So the paid ads are running in Facebook and in usually Instagram and Google Call Only and Google Ads. We also are running content, so we'd be running the blog posts, and we'd be running the social media and the SEO. Email blast would be email blasts out to the patients, and usually we try and match for a very easy ability for somebody to get this on their phone and to make a decision. Again, we're always trying to point to getting an appointment or claim a promotion. All right, so now I'm taking you for the first step. The most important thing in this whole framework is a landing page. So we want to make sure everybody's pointed to a landing page. So when they come in, they're given an offer and they want to add to their cart or set an appointment. All right, so you can see in this case we're seeing claiming offers. Again, these are all individual landing pages coming from those original pieces of content, which are either paid ads, email marketing, or an organic post. So beautiful landing pages with calls to action on them. And then we're also, once they touch the landing pages, we can then retarget them, because we can cookie or pixel their browser depending on if it's Facebook or pay-per-click ads. We decide to retarget them with the similar types of ad and variations, either in Facebook or Instagram or in pay-per-click. So then the next step is to claim the offer. So once they've gotten the offer, they've been presented the offer, we're then retargeting them, then they claim the offer, and we're going to take an inbound form, or in the case of a Google ad, a phone call. And once we begin, if it's a Facebook or Instagram or any of the other participatory inbound forms, we send off email chains to them, which get them segmented into a population that, again, gets their thought process around the actual procedure and also gets them excited. So we do before and after email chains based in retargeting, and that solves the general dilemma of how to remind patients about you, and that's branding awareness. So we're covering the initial set of patient awareness, then we're getting through retargeting with a landing page, we're creating a good value, we're creating the solve for their problem, and then they're claiming the offer, we're getting them excited about that claim, we're getting them ready for the appointment, and then we're converting them now to an appointment. And again, we are doing advocacy, where we're using the BirdEye platform, which allows us to then have an experience afterwards. So as soon as they come in, get the email, we send out the review status, we get a review back from the patient. If it's a poor review, we can dump it off because this process allows us to gate the reviews before they go onto any platform. And again, through the review process, we'll help them actually help themselves in providing you with good feedback. So again, all positive, and of course, reporting on your handset, you can see all of the different variances for reporting, first-time calls, patient engine appointments. Everything's there for you to review, either on phone or desktop. So that's the patient engines.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the presentation, and thanks for watching that quick video. I had a lot of good comments in there, and we're going to start to wrap it up here, but I'm going to go through the review items here, and then we'll get to the end. And again, thank you for hanging on to the call. This is, I know, a little bit of a steep learning curve. I'm trying to build this slowly as we go, but I think you'll find it interesting as we get to the end. So really what you saw there is to review that we had, the target keywords in pay-per-click, Google, Facebook, YouTube, SEO, all of that stuff going into an aggregate main traffic page. Those two things at the very top. And then it goes to an offer with a soft call to action to either a landing page, or an offer to a hard call to action with either a call, a booked appointment right online, or just really a receivable form. That goes to the conversion. So really just trying to get people right through either from the main page or to a landing page, which you've built out as a separate offer. And those offers can be either educate yourself offers like an ebook claim. So somebody could claim, hey, they want to learn about the procedure, and they claim a soft call to action, or they do the hard call to action, which is go right for the appointment. Again, C, B, or R, we call a call, book right now, or book right onto an appointment scheduler. Again, all of these are tied together. As soon as we get the email, we can then start the active campaign email chains to these particular clients or patients and get them into an email feed so that we continue to get them excited, either post for signing up for the procedure, or pre. They haven't signed up yet. They've only claimed a piece of information. Well, we can continue to work with them on an email chain, and those chains can be extensive, or they can be 6 emails over a period of a week, or we have some clients who just want to do an email every day. I really think that the best way to do it is just keep them into a retainer, and you can keep them through the process until they sign up, and then move them into another segment of the email marketing chain. Again, there's a lot of pieces to this, which I'm not going to discuss. I just want to give you a flavor of some of it. So again, the quick recap here is clear goals targeting for 2018. Clarity around your market, your message, and your media. Really thinking through your avatar, really thinking your strategy. and then optimize your website for conversion. Make it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS theory is all what it's about. And then set up your KPI dashboard. And we're going to show you just a couple of KPI dashboards before we get to the end here. But again, these are the top 4 things. I'm trying to synthesize this whole thing into a very simple format. So when we provide dashboards for some of our clients, sometimes they want them to be extremely graphic. And you can tell here we've got, in this particular case, we've got somebody who wants to see their traffic, their users, the sessions, the amount of traffic, the time on site, the capabilities of conversions and checking the conversion rates. Now, this might be handy for someone who's a real sort of data jockey. And we provide these types of dashboards for people who really want to get into it. And this helps actually make decisions. But these are usually for us to make decisions. And this is the type of traffic that we look at, and we optimize the traffic flow to get it into the right quadrants and make sure that we have good, solid strategy on taking the traffic and converting it. Again, this is a perfect example of really what underneath the hood when you're working with agencies like us, what we look at and work through and try and optimize from a very granular level. But really, this is what we like to see more of our practitioners want to see on the front end. And these are some of the dashboards that they'll typically see, which is, hey, how many total online appointments were booked in the last 30 days? How many total phone calls did I get from the ads? How many booked Botox claims did I get? How many first-time visits did I get? How many CoolSculpting campaigns did I get? So again, you can see there's different variants. In this particular case, if you're looking at some real numbers that have been generated by real clients, where you see the actual numbers physically in front of you, you can understand that the spends behind this also relate to cost per lead. So we actually have a cost per lead. I can't show you this in a public forum, but in a private discussion with a client, we can go through average cost per lead based off of spends, and now you can say, okay, great, I got 101 total booked appointments. What was the spend on that? What was my profit? Again, another sort of look at different strategies where goal completions could be just inbound forms over the last 30 days, or really straight out just appointments. Again, going up against trying to build it towards competitive numbers in the space. So if you're looking to get 12 total completions for let's say 2 Botox appointments per week, new, then this would be a good place to start with looking at specific goal completions you're looking to do. Again, these are built off of what requirements are in. And another look at sort of the strategy around visitations, and in this particular case, this person had 626 visits, and again, bounce rates and the amount of new people coming to the site, looking at traffic. Everybody has a little bit of a different spin. It's great to have the KPIs to base off of whatever someone wants to see in their own dashboard. So we build these specific to clients' requirements. We do have standard ones. Again, here's just something that would be interesting for someone who's running Facebook ads, which is, like the last 30 days, the claims and the amount spent. And certainly, there's certain variations, and you can have different ways to build different strategies for each individual campaign if you're running separate campaigns. But then again, you go back to just the same simple thing, which is really just tell me how many online appointments I had that got booked right on my schedule or from a ad, and total first-time calls and things that would make sense to you from a very, very, very simple level. We like to have that really in front of folks. And again, this is with these nice dashboards that are available on people's screens, on their phones. And that's what really is cool when you start to not have to think through it. You just look on your phone and see how your performance is doing. Again, so here's the last thing I'd say is that what are the top 3 internet marketing initiatives that you need to implement to hit your goal by 2018? So we went through a lot of stuff here. Again, kind of like steepened up the curve on what's going on in the marketing at the very end, but really think through those first things I went through, which is, are you running good, solid avatar-based ad strategy and in pay-per-click and Facebook to get the new traffic, the new patients you want? So what about that free book? I bet you were wondering. I promised to keep this to 45 minutes, so we are at that time. So we will give you a free 2018 online marketing plan review, as well as a general analysis of online visibility, custom list of the most important to-dos as we look at your online properties, an SEO report showing where you rank currently, analysis of the competition, analysis of online reviews and reputation, and analysis of social media presence, and an analysis of your website conversion effectiveness. And we will, again, plus give you the book. All we ask in return is the opportunity to bring in a conversation with you to make sure that you have all of the, I guess you could say, ducks in a row. So basically what we do is as long as you apply for a 20-minute review with us, we will send out the book, and we will provide you with the review as a continuation of this discussion to make sure that you're doing the right things. Again, there's no cost involved. There's no strings attached. It's just basically get on my calendar for 20 minutes, and we give you the free review, the analysis. It's a full, basically a 2 to 4 page analysis of your site, and you get the book review. So if you'd like to get the free book, again, before it goes out to the market this month on Amazon directly, I have copies that I will be sending out. Again, get on my schedule, just click the Get My Free Book and Review, and we will get you onto my calendar for a 20-minute review to talk through the elements of your site. Again, as long as you're on there, we will get the information out to you, and as soon as we have the conversation, I'll send the book. Obviously, we need your address and so forth to do that, and that's the 20-minute call. So again, thank you for attending, and if you're so inclined, always you can contact us at Customer Bloom. We're very easy to find online. Just type in Customer Bloom and call us at our main number. But for this offer, please do just book on my calendar for a 20-minute session, and I'll get your review out of your entire site. Again, all of those pieces, the analysis, the SEO report, a real quick to-dos, analysis of your competition, your online reviews, and analysis of social presence, and analysis of your website and your conversion effectiveness. All of that is free. And again, I thank every one of you for being part of this discussion. And there was a lot of good comments through the process of doing this. So a lot of people were very excited to see that this stuff was really helpful. Again, jump on my calendar for a 20-minute review. Let's help you out. Again, there's no strings attached to this. We're just asking for the time to go through this. It's good for us because it gives us an ability to have some fodder for sample of activity. We are going to be doing another webinar shortly with real-time examples with people putting in their sites and having us do on-the-fly activity. So we're going to be actually working with clients in real time, working on giving them conversion strategy. And that's going to be our next webinar, which is a real-time help with my partner and VP of Operations, Chase Buckner. He and I will go through each site that gets proposed to us to do a review. But right now, you can get this done for your site and your properties, whether they're social properties or website properties that you own. We will provide you with that free analysis along with the book. So please get booked on my calendar. We will, once you're on my calendar, we'll end up with that short conversation. At that point, again, once I know the details of your situation, we can get that review out and get the book out to you. So go ahead and please book. Click the Get My Free Book and Review, and we'll get you started on your path for 2018. Again, this is a super exciting year for us, and I hope it's a super exciting year for you. We have a lot of cool technology. There's things that I would love to show in this event that will blow people's minds about how we're actually able to then now do video activity with online appointments. So actually what we're doing is once an appointment comes in, We are literally sending a personalized message to that person that is going to their mailbox, and they're actually lighting that up for conversion. So you can imagine that you're getting an ad sent to you. You actually click on that ad for an offer, and it sends you to a landing page. We get your information, and then we send back a personalized video. The staff will do that. Either we'll do it for you, or you can do it internally to that potential client. It's improving conversion rates by 70%. So really cool stuff going on in the market space with some very cool technology. Again, if you haven't clicked yet, please click on that button to get your free review and to get your book. An 130-page book. There's a lot of details in that book. I've looked at other, I've actually bought other medical marketing books, and I'm absolutely scared to tell you how much better I've got this. I actually found the way to this writing this book was through several different writing consultants, and they had told me that they hadn't seen anything even like this. So this is a very in-depth book that covers a lot of the stuff we talked about in the beginning, which is the avatar strategy and the things that will bring your business much closer to that small hinges big door theory that I've always said, that if you have the right conversion strategy, you will be able to convert people on a higher level because you're psychologically going after them. And a lot of the book goes into this very deeply. It's a cross between sales and psychology, plus all the mechanical pieces that we talked about in brief or in brevity today. But I think the concept is that with the book, that's one piece of it, but the executional dialogue that's in there helps you make some decisions that are better. So again, if you haven't yet clicked on that button to get the free book and to get your review, please do so now. Let's get you on my calendar. Again, there's no strings attached. We're not asking you to purchase anything from us. We're just asking you to get onto our calendar so we can do the review and get some really good examples to show how we can provide much better enlightenment for your marketing for 2018. So a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to turn the webinar off. But again, thanks for all of those people who came today. We had a pretty good session, pretty full, which was amazing. It was given that we only really started advertising this webinar this week, we filled it up right away, and that means there's a huge demand in the market. I know there's a lot of requirements for people who are looking for that last end solution, which is they've got great place, they've started their business, they've run it up, and now they're just looking for that last mile solution, which is let's tap those customers outside of our referral base, outside of our friends and our acquaintances, and the throw off from the connections we've made with other practitioners and other medical environments. Let's do direct to market consumer behavior marketing, and this stuff is absolutely critical. Again, case studies and real-time stuff is what we're going to do in the next presentation. So again, just one more minute here. Just if you have not clicked to get the free book, it's a huge free win for you to get the book and to get the review. And we'll get started with your personalized solution for your environment, whether it's a website, landing pages, your Facebook marketing. Again, we'll review it for you with a short conversation. We'll get that together and then send that out with the book. Really cool stuff. Again, thanks for everybody for being on the webinar. We're going to zoop off this one right now. Again, we will talk to everyone who's set up a review. And again, it looks like we have a bunch of folks who have signed up. My mailbox is going off the charts right now, so it looks like we had most everybody who was in the webinar signed up for a consultation. So that is great, and we're super excited to get started. Thanks again for everyone being on the webinar. We'll be doing another one near the end of the month. We're actually doing some pretty extensive training for groups of physicians at the end of the month. So that might be part of the tie down for folks who are interested in, again, coming to those sessions as well. I'm super excited to start these sessions, and we will see you in the next webinar. Again, thanks for coming all. And again, if you haven't yet clicked on the Get My Free Book and Review, please do it now and get yourself in my calendar, and let's get you started for your 2018 best year ever. All right? Take care, guys and gals.